Those are going to stay on that side.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to get on the other side of the street. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dallas Street. You know the sign says Dallas Street? Not that we cowboy or anything like that. We babies for sure. But this building, the original name of the street we're standing is Strawberry Alley, Methodist Meeting House. These were little alley streets. They're like 12 feet wide, where it's where the working class people live. Maybe 10, 15, whoever on this block go to work at the shipyard or bigger houses. Douglas, 1822, maybe 1838, came to this very place we're standing. He came here because at this location was the Strawberry Alley Methodist Meeting House. It was a church. And eventually, Douglas meets a man named Charles Lawson. He's a lay minister in the church. The church was both black and white at that time. In fact, Bishop Francis Asbury, the great Methodist minister who went all over the country, establishing Methodist churches, in 1802, he declares this church a colored church because the people of color, free and black, were coming in great numbers. Douglas came here, he was a teenager. It was when he made his first spiritual engagement with our Lord. He eventually becomes a minister in the AME Zion Church. But after he escaped in 1838, he left out of Maryland. Could not come back. Why? When he left, he was what? He was a runaway, a fugitive, an outlaw, somebody else's property. So he left in 1838. He could not come back, or did not come back, until November 1864, when the Maryland Constitution was ratified, abolishing slavery in the United States and Maryland. That was done by the vote of the Union soldiers, 1864. There was a, I guess they call it an amendment, a clause in the ratification of the Constitution. The voters, now who was voting in 1864? You know, you got that one real good. So women, white women did not get the right to vote until 1920. That's true. So when the Constitution had been ratified, the only persons to vote were white men, who were the landowners and the slave owners. So they had to vote yea or nay, up or down, do you decide to keep slavery in Maryland. And you know what their vote was. Yes, it's good, we like it. 100% free labor, yeah, we like it. However, someone in the audience, somebody very smart in the back of the room probably, you know, little quiet gentleman don't talk much, he raised his hand and said, well, there's some absentee votes not being counted. And those were the votes for the Union soldiers. Again, white men, fighting, well, either fighting to save the Union or enslave it. But at some point, they had the right to cast their vote. When those Union soldiers from Maryland votes got cast, they are the ones who gave the deciding vote to end slavery in Maryland, November the 1st, 1864. So the first Saturday in November is Freedom Day in Maryland, or Emancipation Day. Douglas, 16 days after it happened, November 17th, is standing right here, speaking to the church, speaking to white and black. And he's talking about why he left Maryland. He said, I left because I hated slavery, but I love this issue of Maryland. I love the fact of Maryland. So this plaque designates the 5 houses that Douglas would eventually build. By the 1890s, Douglas is a man of wealth. He's been an ambassador, he's been a sheriff, he's on a deed. So he comes back here and he buys the land, he knocks down the old wood church building, he builds these 5 houses standing together. These houses are part of the National Historic Register, state and the city. This plaque began to tell the story of Douglas' time here in Fells Point, how he became an editor, writer, advertisement, but also talk about his advocacy. Even after the Civil War ended, Elijah Tucker and Frederick Douglass both did not end their crusade when the war ended. Douglas became a crusader for women's rights, for black men to get the right to vote. So here it means that in his speaking and writing, as a holder of public office, Douglas was a crusader for human rights. Never missed the opportunity to speak or act on behalf of the oppressed. Last time, he died on February 20th, 1895, following his speech on women's rights. And this is 3 decades after slavery ended, to show you the character of Mr. Douglas. He was just here, the most powerful 19th century, Douglas has often been called the father of civil rights. And now we know, long before Rosa Parks, long before Dr. King, we're going back to the 1890s, this guy was the father of civil rights. So what we do here, we found out that he didn't live here. He bought them and they sold them. They're now owned by private individuals. House 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The third one was the base that says Douglas Road. So what we do here, take any question, take your blue picture, face it out with it. Then we have one more stop in the tour. Just do it. So this is the question after time. I have no idea because let me tell you the truth. The question is, why did he have two S's on his name? In fact, it's not even his name. Frederick Douglass is not his name. And Harriet Tubman, that's not her name. Frederick Douglass' real name is Hugh birth name. Anyone else?
Something Bailey.
Right. You teach her. She can have a good. Give her a round of applause. She's got a good one. Anyway, Douglass was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. Harriet Tubman was born Arminta Ross. Douglass, when he escaped to make his way to New York, 12 days later, Anna was there, they were married, well, they have to change their name. Because if he goes there as Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey, it's going to be easy to track. One of the Underground Railroad agents who helps him, Mr. David Rucker, who was just by himself. If you ever have a chance to read on someone that's a marvelous person, that maybe 1,000 people in the whole world right know his name. His name is David Rucker, Ruggles. David said to Douglas, you need to change your name. So first he came up with Frederick Johnson. But David said there was too many Johnsons already. So someone, one of those two men, is reading a book entitled The Lady of the Lake. And the hero of the story is Sir Douglas. That's how you know Sir Douglas. So any other questions? Okay, when we leave here, we got about a 4-block walk to our last and final stop, which is Frederick Douglass and I our time in Virginia Park. So what we'll do here is, some of you will get up here, some will get a step, face out, we'll take a picture, okay?
Cars may be coming down this street, though. Be careful.
I want him to be in the picture.
Okay.
Otherwise, he can't be in the picture. So.
So,
What newspaper was that back when I was 8?
Oh, yeah, there's 10.
cut this off.